Alright, so now we are doing notes on page 156, section 6, topic 4, graphing quadratic functions using vertex and intercepts. So, how this problem works is there's going to be a couple steps that we're going to do together. We'll do one more problem together as well, and then you'll try your own. Okay, so given a quadratic equation in standard form, f of x equals x squared minus 4x minus 12, use the following steps to graph f of x on the coordinate plane on the following page. So our first step is use the a value to determine if the graph should open upwards, which is a positive, or downwards if it is a negative. So remember, upwards would look like this, downwards would look like this. So the first step, determine what a is. So what is a in this problem? Well, a is 1. And since it's a positive one, I already know that my graph is upwards. Okay, so just by that, I know my graph is going to look like a smiley face. Let's move on to step 2. Step 2, find and graph the axis of symmetry using the formula. X equals negative b over 2a. This is also the h coordinate in the vertex. So remember, vertex is going to be h comma k. So the first thing we need to do in order to find the vertex, so if you ever are told, how do you find the vertex? This is the first step to finding the vertex. So the first step, let's do x equals, now I got to do a negative in the front, and whatever b is. So in this problem, what is my b? In this problem up here, what is b? Well, b is 4, but it's a negative 4, so I'm going to put a negative 4 up here. Okay, then I'm going to do 2 times a. A is 1. We already determined that last class, or last step. Now let's simplify this some more. So negative 4 times negative is going to be a positive 4. So that negative is gone now. Because of the negative and negative, it's gone. 2 times 1 is 2. Can I simplify that? Yes, I can. So this is going to be 2. So the h in the vertex is going to be the 2 value. Okay? Now, let's move on to step 3. Find f of h, the k coordinate of the vertex, by substituting h into the equation. Plot the vertex h of k on the graph. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug in that 2 in for the x, so that way I can figure out what the other value is. So I use the problem above. The problem above was x squared minus 4x minus 12. Okay, so all I'm going to do is plug in that first number that we just figured out right here, this 2. Every time I see an x, that's what I'm going to plug in. So let's do that. I have 2 squared minus 4. I see another x, times that by 2 minus the 12. Okay, I take out my calculator and we do 2 squared minus 4 times 2 minus 12. Okay, gives you an answer of a negative 16. So, negative 16. So, what is my h and what is my k? So my h was 2, my k was negative 16. So this right here is the vertex. Okay. Alright, let's move to problem number 4, step 4. Find and plot the y-intercept, which is the constant c in f of x equals a of x squared plus bx plus c. If possible, use the axis of symmetry to find the reflection point. So what that means is, I'll write the problem down, x squared minus 4x minus 12. Basically what this is saying is whatever c is, that's going to be your y-intercept. So I'll write that down. Whatever the c value is, that is your y-intercept. So whatever that c value is, that's your y-intercept. Now the c value in this problem is negative 12. So what is your y-intercept? Well, that's easy. Your y-intercept is negative 12. So the ordered pair is going to be 0, comma, negative 12, because that's our y-intercept. So y-intercept. So far, we already have 2 points. We have the vertex, and we have the y-intercept. Okay, let's move on to step 5. Find and plot the x-intercepts. Okay, factoring is one option, but you can always use the quadratic formula. We're going to factor this. So x squared minus 4x minus 12. So we could use the quadratic formula, especially that we have that FSA calculator, but it's easier if we just do the x method. And I put negative 12 up here, and I put negative 4 here. So what two numbers multiply to negative 12, but also add to 4? So what multiplies to 12? Well, that's 6 and 2. Okay, 6 times 2 does give me the 12, and 6 and 2 can give me 4. Okay, well, I have to minus one of these. Now, if this is a negative and that's a negative, the bigger number is going to be negative. Okay, so remember, whatever the bottom number is, the bigger number is going to be that. So if this number was positive, my bigger number would have been positive. So my x-intercepts, which are also known as my zeros, okay, these are our roots. So my two x-intercepts, remember that my zeros are always the opposites of these two numbers. So the opposite of 6, or negative 6, is positive 6. And the opposite of 2 is negative 2. So these are my x-intercepts. Now I'm done. I can graph all 3 of these points. Okay, so now let's just graph all these points. And let's go up by ones on the x-axis. So we'll go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's go backwards. Negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 9, and negative 10. Okay, on my y values, though, I'm going to go a little bit different. I'm going to go up by 2. So I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. And then the same thing, just negatives. Negative 2, negative 4, negative 6, negative 8, negative 10, negative 12, negative 14, negative 16, negative 18, and negative 20. Okay? Now let's plot these points. So the first point I'm going to plot is my vertex. That vertex is 2 and negative 16. So 2 on the x and negative 16 on the y. And that point is about right here. So first, vertex. Second, we're going to do our y-intercept. Okay? That y-intercept we put as 0, negative 12. So 0 is in the center, negative 12 is right here. Okay? So second is y-intercept, we're done there. Third is going to be your zeros, or your x-intercepts. Now remember, this is where they cross the x-axis. Those two numbers are 6. So the first one we're going to plot is 6. The second one we're going to plot is negative 2. And there we go. Now I connect my dots. And beautiful. Okay. Of course, it's not going to come out perfect. That's not the point of this. The point is to make sure that you know how to get these points and then connect your dots. It does not have to be perfect. As you can tell, mine is beautiful. Okay. Let's move on to number 1 on Let's Practice. Okay. So given the function f of x equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 21, use the following steps to graph the f of x on the coordinate plane on the following page. So the first thing, once again, we're going to determine if my A is negative or positive. Currently, the A is a -1. Therefore, it's going to be a downward graph, which means it's going to look like that. Okay, let's move on. Step number 2. We're going to find and graph the axis of symmetry using the formula x equals -b over 2a. This is also the h coordinate of the vertex. So again, this is our first step of finding the vertex. So if you ever are told how do you find the vertex, you find the x first and then plug it in. So my problem is -x squared plus 4x plus 21. Now the formula says I take -b. So I have a -b, which is negative, and my b is 4. Okay? Then I put that over 2 times a. A is -1. Okay? So I have -4. 2 times -1 is -2. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. Okay? Now, so this is the h coordinate of my vertex. So my h equals 2. Now I got to find the k. I have to find that other point. So how do I find it? I plug this 2 in to the problem. So the problem, I plug this 2 in to every single x. And that's how I find the k. So let's do. Okay, so now all we're going to do is plug in that 2 for my x value. So let's do that. So I have a negative in the front, and then I have a 2. And that's got to be squared because my x is going to be squared. So plus 4 times that x is going to be 2, plus 21. Okay, so now let's put this in exactly how it says in the calculator. So I have a negative, well, let's restart the whole thing. So I have a negative parentheses 2 squared plus, actually I gotta end that parentheses. Let's start this over. So let's just do 2 squared, 2 times 2, which is 4, plus 8 plus 21. The only thing is this is a negative, so I'm going to drop that down. And now let's put this into our calculator. Okay, so I have a -4 plus 8 plus 21 should give you an answer of 25. Okay, so your h was 2, your k was 25. So again, all you have to do, use that formula, plug it in, you'll get your h, you'll get your k. Okay, so now we got to find and plot the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is the easiest thing. So I'm going to just label this vertex really quick. The y-intercept is just the c value. So the problem is -x squared plus 4x plus 21. What's my c value? My c value is 21. So the y-intercept is going to be 0, 21. Okay, super easy for your y-intercept. Okay, so that's our second point. The first point is going to be the vertex. Let's move on to the last part. Step 5 is to factor this out. So the formula is -x squared plus 4x plus 21. Okay, now we got to factor this out. Okay, so first off, I'm going to multiply this negative to the 21 first. So I have x squared plus 4x minus 21. Okay, now I can go ahead and use my x method. So I put -21 here and 4 here. So what times what gives you 21? So 7 times 3, 7, 14, 21. Okay, 7 and 3. Okay, but the only thing is, this number is positive, that number is negative, so the bigger number has to be positive. So 7 minus 3 gives you the 4. So, remember I take the opposite. So I write this as x plus 7, x minus 3. The only thing is, there was that negative in the front, so I need to bring that negative back. So really, it's going to be x minus 7, x plus 3. Okay, now I take the opposite of negative 7, so my x-intercepts are going to be a positive 7 and a negative 3. Okay, so that was a little bit more confusing than the other one, but we had to bring that negative back. That's the reason why we changed it. Okay, all right, let's graph the last one. Okay, so let's go up by ones on the x's again. So I'll zoom in a little bit. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have negatives going this way. 4, 5, -6, -7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, for my y's, I'm going to go up by 3's. So we got, So we have 3, 6, then I have 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, and 30. Now I'm just going to go backwards, so it's -3, -6, -9, -12, -15, -18, -21, -24, -27, and -30. Okay, so now I plot my points. So the first point we're going to plot is that vertex. So the vertex was 2, 25. So let's look. My x is 2, my y is 25. So that's about right here. Okay. So the next one is going to be my y-intercept. And that y-intercept is 0, 21. So 0, 21 is this point right here. My last one is to graph those two my roots essentially. So I'm going to graph -3 here and my positive 7 here. Connect my dots. And now I'm done. Okay, not too difficult, and that's it for this video.